Hi everyone, good afternoon. Welcome to BYJU'S Exam Prep. My name is Alpa Sharma, and in today's session we shall be talking about what should your strategy for verbal ability be so that you're able to score all the questions correctly. So I hope I am clearly visible and audible to everyone. If you could quickly confirm that, we shall start with our session today. Yes, visible and audible. Thank you, Dia. So, IPMAT, if you're targeting IPMAT for 2022, this session aims at addressing this issue that can we score all the questions correctly? Can we get 100% questions correct? How? That's the agenda of the session. But before we start off with that, if you're targeting BBA, IPM and HM for 2023, we have a comprehensive course that has been launched on 15th of March, which will prepare you aptly for all the three entrance examinations and various examinations that fall under these three categories. So if these three or any one of these three is your target, make sure you enroll yourself for this program at the earliest. Speak to our counselors on this number and jaldi se enroll kar lo. Also, sorry for this, yes. If you are targeting CUCET for 2022, a champion course batch 3 has been launched, and this is the number of our counselors. Jaldi se enroll kar lo is batch ke liye CUCET 22 is your target. If you're targeting IPMAT for various IIMs and you want to do BBA and plus MBA from them, a booster crash course has been launched on 9th of March. This is the number of our counselors, and you can speak to them at the earliest. Hi everyone. Hi Avral, Rajdeep, Panda, Akansha, Preeti, MDG. So, give me a second, please. Give me a second. Give me a second, please. Yeah. Okay. तो सबसे पहला क्वेश्चन कि आईपीएम में आप इंदौर के लिए देखो, कोई और आईएम के लिए देखो. सबसे पहले are you will anyone be ever able to score all of the verbal ability questions correct? My answer, a simple answer to that question is absolutely yes. You can score all the questions correct. Now, the second question that I'm sure comes to your mind is how do we score all of these questions correctly, specifically in verbal ability? So before I start off with it, jaldi se quick revision kar lete hain. You know, if I talk about I am indoors IPMAT, you've got three sections, rather two जिसमें mathematics आता है, एक 30 questions का verbal ability section आता है. If you talk about I am Rohtak, you've got three sections where verbal ability is for 40 marks. So can I score 40 on 40 in I am Rohtak's examination, and can I score 30 on 30 in I am indoors examination? Yes, I can. What do we do about that? How do we make sure that we're able to score all the questions correctly? So to understand that, first understand the verbal ability section is divided into three important aspects. We have vocabulary, grammar, and comprehension. Apart from that, we've got some critical reasoning that can come under any section. That can come under the reasoning section, mathematics. It also can come under the English section. So apart from the verbal ability, we also have the critical reasoning section, which I'm going to keep that separately. Let's start talking about each one of it. Vocabulary kaise? Ma'am, is there any difference in SET and IPMAT examination? Of course, yes, there is. Yes, there is. The weightage, the sections, there is a difference. So, let's talk about vocabulary first. Vocabulary में क्या करें कि ensure करें सारे marks correctly आए. सबसे पहले vocabulary में you'll get direct questions, synonyms and antonyms. You'll get one word substitution, idioms and phrases, a lot of types of questions. So, these are the types of questions you can be asked. Spellings बहुत frequently नहीं आता, but on and off आ जाता है. You get a lot of questions on one word substitution, idioms and phrases, synonyms and antonyms. Direct questions can come. What are the things that you can do here before I give you the overview of grammar? So, सबसे पहली चीज, start your preparation with learning 5 to 10 new words every single day. Where do you work on these vocabulary words from? You start doing them every day from newspapers. Apart from that, there is one more book that I can highly recommend. So, I highly recommend word power made easy. अब क्वेश्चन ये आता है कि मैम एग्जाम में टाइम तो इतना कम बचा है, कैसे कर लेंगे वर्ड पावर मेड इजी? When I was a student, I did word power made easy in 30 days. When I could do it, I'm sure you can do it too. Pick up the book Word Power Made Easy. It will ensure you work on etymology. This book is easily available online. Apart from doing vocabulary from newspapers and Word Power Made Easy, I expect you to do idioms and phrases daily. Idioms and phrases daily kahan se karna hai? For doing idioms and phrases daily, one, you know I've restarted a series on idioms and phrases. जिसकी एक क्लास ऑलरेडी फ्राइडे को हो चुकी है, वो वॉच करो. कल फिर से उसकी नेक्स्ट क्लास होगी. 5 क्लासेस का सीरीज है ऑन idioms and phrases. Apart from that, buy any decent book on idioms, because the good part is idioms, you don't have to ratify them. You read an idiom, you know the story behind that, you know the context, you can easily answer idiom questions. And since idioms are given a lot of weightage in all the BB entrance examinations, predominantly IPMAT, you have to be a master of idioms. And most of the times the idioms questions are not given to you in sentences. So with that, you have to do idioms and phrases in detail. So for vocabulary, first thing, word power made easy, 10 words every day from the editorials of the newspaper, idioms and phrases on a daily basis. Apart from that, you can also download a list of 333 list of high frequency words by barons. This list is easily available online. Make sure you download this list. This list is a list of high frequency words. High frequency words where questions can come. So this is what you need to do. Apart from that, let's go back to look at the kind of questions that you see in grammar. In grammar, you get a lot of sentence correction, error spotting questions, fill in the blank questions, and identifying the part of speech questions are rare though. But mostly you would find these kind of questions. ग्रामर के लिए हम क्या कर सकते हैं? सबसे पहले understand your basics of grammar need to be absolutely clear. Anonymous, yes, I'll talk about grammar rules. बहुत ज्यादा उसको कैसे करें, ठीक है? तो सबसे पहले ये देखो बच्चे, ग्रामर में क्वेश्चंस कैसे आते हैं वो समझो. ग्रामर में अनलिमिटेड रूल्स हैं और एग्जामिनर क्या कहीं से भी रूल पूछेगा? You need to know that's not true. सबसे ज्यादा जो क्वेश्चंस आते हैं ग्रामर में वो आते हैं on the basis of exceptions. What are exceptions? Understand that. Let me take you back to this slide. Let me write down first a list of topics from which you can get maximum amount of questions from. So grammar में you don't have to be a grammar Nazi. आपको सब कुछ पता होना जरूरी नहीं है. So let me write down a list of grammar topics which you should do और फिर बताऊंगी वो exceptions कौन से होते हैं जिसपे questions बन सकते हैं. Okay? Yes, Ankit, that's exactly what I'm targeting. So first topic is verb. No, rather let me write down tenses. You don't have to do verb in itself. Do tenses, do subject and verb agreement, do prepositions, do pronouns. These are the 4 topics that you have to do. Maximum number of questions can be seen predominantly from these topics. Apart from that, अगर आप टेंसेस कर रहे हो तो सिंगुलर वर्ब कौन सा, प्लूरल वर्ब कौन सा है, सब्जेक्ट वर्ब अग्रीमेंट कर रहे हो तो सिंगुलर कौन सा, प्लूरल कौन सा है, टेंसेस में वर्ब की फॉर्म्स कौन सी है, वो ऑटोमेटिकली कवर अप हो जाता है. So if you do these 4 topics, predominantly you would find maximum questions being asked from these topics. If you look at the previous year paper and their analysis. Okay? Okay. So, these are the 4 topics. Now, let's talk about exceptions. Exceptions क्या होते हैं? मैं आपको एक example देती हूँ exception का. Exception is anything that's commonly spoken but grammatically that's wrong. The examiner will not ask you कि is लगेगा कि are लगेगा, I के साथ या am लगेगा. He will not ask you such simple questions. He will only ask you exception questions. कल कोई काम हो गया, if the sentence says yesterday, the examiner will not ask you past tense लगेगा कि present tense लगेगा. So what will he ask you? He will ask you, the king, look at this example. The king's, find out the error here everyone. Can you? The king's girlfriend knew that the society will, continuing here, not accept their relationship. Find out the error here. The king's girlfriend knew that the society will not accept their relationship. Find out the error here, everyone. Anonymous, I'm trying to explain this. Itna enough nahi hoga. Let me explain this. It's pretty easy, Kamakshi. It's pretty easy and easily doable. If you compare it to IPMAT's paper, it's pretty easy. So, Diya says it won't be will, it would be would. Vaibhav says it would be kings and then apostrophe. Okay. This is a sample question that shows you exception. Exception is, once you read the sentence, you would think the sentence is absolutely fine. But here, Diya is absolutely right. It should be would instead of will. Because the entire sentence is in past tense. When the sentence is in past tense, you can't use a will. You have to make would. So, when you do tenses, you'll come across such exceptions. You'll come across things that are commonly spoken incorrectly, and only on those things maximum questions will fall on. Will doing this be enough? It should not be enough, but it should be able to make you score a decent number in grammar. But if I'm targeting 100% of the questions correct, that's when the question arises, what should I do? So, to talk about that in detail, let's see. Your basics of grammar need to be really good. So, you have to sit with a decent grammar book like Renan Martin and practice basics of grammar. If you don't have time, you need to practice those 4 topics that I have expected you to do. Practice those 4 topics, master them, and once your basics are clear with them, make sure you solve miscellaneous error spotting questions. Let me tell you something, Anonymous and Anki Rawat and everyone else who has questions about grammar. Mind my words. You do 200 questions of miscellaneous error spotting dhyan se, with all your attention, understanding each and every error. You are very likely going to be scoring all of the questions correctly, because 200 questions of miscellaneous error spotting will cover up maximum number of exceptions that can be framed into a question. उस क्वेश्चन की वर्डिंग चेंज होके कुछ और क्वेश्चन तरीका का बन के आ सकता है, बट एक्सेप्शन और ग्रामर रूल सारे इन 200 क्वेश्चंस में कवर अप हो जाएंगे. सो इफ you have lesser amount of time, you have to solve at least 200 questions. That will not tell you यहाँ pronouns की error है या यहाँ subject verb agreement की error है. Please solve as many questions as possible. How many days would it take to solve 200 questions on grammar? You can easily, with rules, solve 30 questions per day. Easily. Do the rules and understand the technique. Once you're done with these 200 questions, trust me, you will not get questions wrong. But you need to understand what is the error here. So like I taught you, will, would होगा क्योंकि past tense है. ये आपको पता होना चाहिए कि यहाँ would होगा because the sentence is in past tense. Got that? Will you be doing these with me now? 200 questions in the next 1 week? Vaibhav, I've already written the important list of topics in grammar. I'll repeat that again. It's tenses, it's subject and verb agreement, prepositions, and pronouns. These are the ones. Ma'am, the series you put on Christ entrance, can I watch them? Yes, of course you can, Kamakshi, because the grammar and vocabulary remains the same for every examination. Right? And even if you do something more difficult, you should be able to solve something that's easy. So, you should be watching them. Anki, see, I'll tell you something honestly. Every book is illegally available online as an ebook. So I wouldn't recommend any. You have to, because I can't promote anything illegal, but every single book is available online. I can mention a website that you can follow for grammar miscellaneous questions. Kamakshi, I hope I've answered your question. I might check my reading speed today and it came out, which is a good one. Remember, target of 400. Skim. And I've taught you skimming, okay? Skim. Ma'am, the basic से grammar पढ़ना पड़ेगा. कुछ छूटा हुआ? Of course, yes. देखो बच्चे, shortcut में अगर करना है तो ये 4 टॉपिक कर लो और miscellaneous questions कर लो. But अगर डिटेल में करना है तो बेसिक से तो पढ़ना पड़ेगा पैंडा. Right? मैम, क्या आप करवाएंगे error spotting questions IPM इंदौर के लिए? Yes, anonymous. मैं और विनोद सर बहुत सारी सीरीज लेके आ रहे हैं. We will also bring more this week. But this week's target is to be able to teach you idioms and phrases. So make sure you don't miss out on those. After idioms are done, I will pick up grammar also again. Also, ma'am, Christ versus BVP, level of VA, which is harder? Christ. I hope I've answered your question. By the time I move forward with what to do with reading comprehensions, did you like my video? If you're watching it, please click on the like button. Please click on the share button as well. Please share it with all your friends and tell them that it's a very important session which has tiny tips and tricks. Yes, Vaibhav, I am. Vopsy, I don't know how long the tutorial is. I can't tell you. You have to tell me your words per minute. Let's talk about reading comprehension. अब देखो, comprehension में बहुत सारे levels के questions आते हैं. One, of course, is unseen passage. And all of this can be attributed to verbal ability. We'll talk about these later on. Let's talk about unseen passages first. So, unseen passage, of course, is tougher. It takes time, more time than these two things. Since we don't have a lot of time, what can we do in reading comprehensions to make our reading comprehension skills better? Let me write down a few things for you. While you are solving reading comprehensions, I expect you to do a few things. The first one is solving at least 4 RCs every single day. Which RCs should you solve? Looking at the difficulty level of IPMAT, I expect you to solve previous year CAT papers. All of these are available online for free. Okay, so I expect you to solve previous year CAT papers at least 4 RCs a day if you're targeting IPMAT, because IPMAT's RCs are tricky. So CAT papers, you can also buy Arun Sharma for reading comprehension, which has very good reading comprehensions for CAT and IPMAT level questions. So at least 4 RCs every day. The second thing I expect you to do is, once you're solving an RC, always analyze your mistakes. What question did I get wrong? What did I mark? Why was the option incorrect? What should have been the correct answer? Now, when you're reading a reading comprehension, follow 2 techniques that I teach you right now. Everyone, pay all your attention here right now. While you are reading a reading comprehension, because you are in a rush to read it, follow 2 things that I'm going to write down here. The first thing that I expect you to follow while you're solving a reading comprehension is always focus on the first and the last para. Apart from focusing on the entire passage, the first and the last para. Your maximum attention, it has to be on these 2 paras, because this will help you identify main idea, tone, storyline, structure of the passage, many questions to follow. Okay, so always focus on the first and the last para maximum. Second thing, always make a mind map. What is the mind map? First para, what does it talk about? Second para, what does it talk about? Third para, what does it talk about? Link them like a jigsaw puzzle, and a bigger picture will come in front of you. Practice these 2 things while you're solving your reading comprehension. So, getting back to the question, if I have 1 month, 2 months for my IPMAT preparation, what do I expect you to do? I expect you to solve at least 4 CAT level RCs. I expect you to analyze them. And every time you solve it, try to identify the main idea of the passage by, of course, focusing on the first, the last paragraph and the mind mapping. Will you do this with me, everyone, every day? So, Keshav, correct me if I am wrong. क्या आपने अभी तक कुछ भी प्रिपेयर नहीं किया है? पहले ये बताइए, मैं उस अकॉर्डिंग आपको गाइड करूंगी. Others, will you do this with me every day? Yes. Okay. So a lot of people are in with me. ठीक है? और by the time Keshav answers my question, let me meet you all. I'll meet you every day till Friday. Let me meet you all again on Monday. And let me give you a target till Monday. And let's catch up on how much have you achieved your target. कितने लोग रेडी है चैलेंज के लिए? एक चैलेंज दे दे आज आप लोगों को. How many of you are ready for the challenge? ये बताइए मुझे. Before I start talking about critical reasoning, challenge के लिए कितने लोग रेडी हैं? Akansha is ready. Diya, Anonymous, Sabit, and Faisal, Manas. Very good. चलिए. Let me write down the challenge for you. Monday को एक राउंड अप लेते हैं, देखते हैं चैलेंज में आपने कितना प्रिपेयर किया. Okay, let me write down the challenge for you here. Not ending the session. Writing the challenge here. So every day for RC. If you're solving critical reasoning passages every day, 10 questions of critical reasoning from the GMAT guide. I'll tell you which guide this is while I talk about critical reasoning. GMAT guide. 3, grammar. Website's name? No. Previous year papers. Previous year papers. 30 questions of error spotting. And 4th, 20 words of vocab. Any source. 5th, 10 idioms. Take a screenshot, everyone. मैम हमें मैक्सिमम कितने मिनट लगाने चाहिए एक आरसी पैसेज सॉल्व करने के लिए? कशिश, आपको अपनी रीडिंग स्पीड चेक करनी पड़ेगी. आपकी रीडिंग स्पीड 1 मिनट में कितने वर्ड्स आप पढ़ पाते हैं? आपकी रीडिंग स्पीड होनी चाहिए रफली 350 to 400 वर्ड्स पर मिनट. ये आपकी रीडिंग स्पीड होनी चाहिए. तो आप किसी भी वेबसाइट पे जाके अपनी रीडिंग स्पीड चेक करिए और फिर देखिए आपकी रीडिंग स्पीड कितनी है. 350 to 400 वर्ड्स पर मिनट आपको पढ़ने ही है अगर आप सारे पैसेजेस टाइम पे सॉल्व करना चाहते हैं. तो ये स्क्रीनशॉट ले लिया आई होप सबने. नाउ आई एम गोइंग टू टॉक अबाउट दिस अगेन नेक्स्ट मंडे. आई शैल सी यू. और एक ऐसा करते हैं, मंडे को एक मैराथन कर लेते हैं. मैराथन ऑफ क्वेश्चंस. खूब क्वेश्चन सॉल्व करेंगे. आरसी, क्रिटिकल रीजनिंग, ग्रामर, इडियम्स, वोकैब. तो देखते हैं कहां तक आप पहुंचे हो. पहले आपका राउंड अप लेंगे, फिर मैराथन सॉल्व करेंगे. ओके, ये डेली का टारगेट है बच्चे. दिस इज योर डेली टारगेट. नो दी आई विल नॉट आस्क देम. ओके, तो मनस इसके बारे में आरसी की क्लास में बात करेंगे क्योंकि अदरवाइज हम अभी डेविएट हो जाएंगे. ठीक है, तो अब गेटिंग बैक टू क्रिटिकल रीजनिंग क्वेश्चंस. क्रिटिकल रीजनिंग एक्चुअली इज अ ट्रिकी टॉपिक. क्रिटिकल रीजनिंग मास्टर करने के लिए देयर आर अ फ्यू प्रीरेक्विजिट्स. फर्स्ट, व्हाट आर assumptions, arguments, conclusions? Your basic fundamental has to be crystal clear of what these terms are. इसका कोई शॉर्टकट नहीं है. If you don't know what is an assumption, you will always get assumption wrong. If you don't know what is a conclusion, you will always get conclusion wrong. So your basic fundamental of what these terms mean. Please take 3 days, 4 days and please clear your basic fundamentals of critical reasoning, what these terminologies mean. The questions that appear in the examination are not easy. So the first thing, rather the second thing that you should always focus on will be to identify what is the argument. आपको पता, अगर आप मेरे क्रिटिकल रीजनिंग के सेशंस में आते हो, आपको पता मैं कितना फोकस करती हूँ क्रिटिकल रीजनिंग क्या है. जिसकी रीडिंग स्पीड अच्छी नहीं है, आई विल टॉक अबाउट रीडिंग स्पीड इन अनदर सेशन. ओके, सो गेटिंग बैक टू इट, आर्ग्यूमेंट क्या है? दैट इज क्वेश्चन बोल क्या रहा है. इफ यू डोंट अंडरस्टैंड क्वेश्चन क्या बोल रहा है, you will not be able to understand any critical reasoning question. जो मैंने आपको होमवर्क दिया है, there is a GMAT guide. It's available online. It's available in the form of a hard copy. Let me show you the guide. I have it with me right now. I'll show you the guide later on. Guide or GMAT Club is a website जहां पे इसके सारे questions available है with discussions. Why do we recommend this guide? We recommend this guide is because इसके answers authentic है. Each and every question has a correct answer. अगर आप किसी भी random दैट इज व्हाई आई डोंट रेकमेंड आर.एस. अग्रवाल और एम.के. पांडे, क्योंकि वहां बहुत सारे क्वेश्चंस गलत है. प्लीज डोंट प्रैक्टिस क्रिटिकल रीजनिंग फ्रॉम अ सोर्स दैट हैज इनकरेक्ट आंसर्स. आपका बेसिक फंडामेंटल हिला देती है ये वाली बुक्स. डोंट फॉलो दैट. You will find the GMAT guide to be difficult, but trust me, I don't think you should follow any book that is not verified over the years. आप प्रीवियस ईयर कैट के क्वेश्चंस भी सॉल्व कर सकते हैं, अरुण शर्मा की बुक भी सॉल्व कर सकते हैं फॉर प्रैक्टिसिंग क्रिटिकल रीजनिंग, बिकॉज इनके आंसर्स ओवर द इयर्स वेरीफाइड हो चुके हैं. Dia, you'll have to link them to some story. That's the easiest way of doing idioms. So this is what I expect you to do in critical reasoning. You can do previous year CAT papers, you can do the GMAT guide, you can also solve LSAT previous year questions. All these sources have good critical reasoning questions with authentic answer keys. So solve that as well. Once you do this, I'm sure you should be able to score pretty good in the verbal ability section, rather full marks in the verbal ability section. Remember, your speed is equally important apart from your efficiency, because the entire paper takes some time. Solve at least 20 marks before you sit for the paper. आपका स्कोर मैक्सिमम आने के लिए आपको प्रैक्टिस करना बहुत जरूरी है. प्लीज सॉल्व एट लीस्ट 20 marks प्लस sectional tests, as many as you can. So that's what I expect you to do. Anki, they are available online for free, all of them. Vopsy, there are some answers that are incorrect in the book. I will not recommend that book. Okay? Diya, ignore bache. Ignore bache. We can't be paying attention. So, I'm going to see you again tomorrow at 12:30 with my series on idioms. But remember, Monday, marathon. I am going to check on the target that I've given you. Others who have joined me late who don't know what the target is, please watch my video from the beginning. You would know what target I'm referring to. I'm sure the timetable that I've given you, if you follow that, you are going to excel in the examination. Just wholeheartedly usko medicine prescription ki jaise follow kar lo. Give me a month and you shall be in your dream college. Thank you so much, everyone. I'm here for 2 more minutes if there are any more questions. Yes, Vopsy, for logical reasoning, it's a good one. For critical, I wouldn't recommend that. Have a very good day, everyone. See you again tomorrow at 12:30 with a series on idioms. I hope last advice देते जाएंगे. If you're asking me for an advice, my only advice is the timetable follow कर लो wholeheartedly. I am sure you're going to land up in your dream college. You just have to do it wholeheartedly. इसमें चोरी नहीं करनी है बच्चे. फिर कोई excuses नहीं चलेगा मेरे साथ. मैम ये हो गया वो हो गया. If something is very important for you, the excuses will not matter. नींद आ रही थी, family function था, boards था, I don't care. The examination will not care as well. Remember that. Bye everyone. Have a very good day. God bless all of you.